The best revenge is massive success. Frank Sinatra. My friends, how do you get massive success? Practice. The same way you get to Carnegie Hall. Practice. Each and every day, 10 to 15 minutes. I hope you're with us. We're here every day. We hope you are. Now, everything is up for the day. And of course, we've been telling you, priming you, hey, are these markets turning around? Well, guess what? We had things move down for 3 weeks. Of course, higher than average volume last week here on the S&P 500. Popping over this week, average volume. Today has closed. The latest 2-day candle, it's above, as is the half day. The half day's been going up for a while. I'm waiting for a bit of a pullback, but nonetheless, we have a potential trigger here for an up move going long on the S&P 500. Told you about this as it's been advancing this week. I hope that you potentially entered a long trade, a long practice trade. Remember, not a stock calling service. We're an education firm, but we want you to practice. And again, how do you do that? You follow these charts and you, again, jump into moves when they are available. Now, this is one on the S&P. It has crossed over. We see where we are. We're still below that weekly trend line, but it does appear that things are turning around here. Now, I have been trading off of the NASDAQ 100 the last 2 times in particular, where we had a massive up move, beautiful down move. We talked about these as they occurred, and we rode those trends. Well, here on the S&P, it was up not as much as the Qs, the NASDAQ 100, the tech stocks. They were not up as much today as the S&P 500, but that's what I'm sticking with. Now, again, a couple of reasons here. We look at the S&P, we look at the NASDAQ, and of course the NASDAQ dip much stronger, which means this turnaround is stronger, I think, because it plumbed lower. As we look at the volume's about the same on both of the charts, just above average here on the weekly chart, pushed through on the 2-day, and of course through on the half-day. So again, laying my practice trade down on the NASDAQ 100. Now again, all the parameters are due. If you look over here at the ATR, remember, let me get on the right, let's get on the right candle here. On the ATR, if you look to the left in the middle, you see it's 16.56. Now, when I move to show you where it is, it's right here, the ATR. That is $16.56. Now, $16.56. Now, what I want you to pay close attention to is, go ahead and set up your profit and loss bands. Oops, that's not them. They're right here. And you would go into the long position, and of course you would set that. Hopefully you went ahead and entered in the afternoon. And of course we've got great trainings on how to set this up. And in fact, it's covered in our new book that will be published in just the next, few weeks. But again, hopefully you entered a practice trade on this. You went ahead and set your entry point. You went ahead and loaded your practice trade. You went ahead and set your good till canceled sell order at 1-time ATR on the 2-day chart. And of course, that is also the opposite, is your getting out point in case the market does not continue to go up. No guarantees that's going to happen, but how do we cut our losses? Well, we keep them at 1 times the average true range. This is the way we do it over and over and over again. We hope to make 2 times the average true range. And again, we always turn around. Once we hit that 1-time ATR, we sell half of the position, then we let the rest of it ride playing with the market's money. It's so much more fun to be playing with the market's money and not your own. Remember, it's the losses that kill you. The wins, of course, are they're the reason for your success, but it's the losses that drive you out of the market. So you're going to play the way you practice, so make sure to practice the right way. Let's look at where we are on 20-year bonds. They are up again as we end the week. They are just standing right there. We drove things up to this topper, the ceiling that we had, and they're just sort of staying there. Didn't quite have average volume. We can see on the half day just sliding up the weekly trend line. We ended with a doji, so there's some indecision. Maybe things this next week are going to roll over, going down. Things will go into the red. This could be what we call a dead week after the peak back on the week beginning the 5th of August. If things go red on 20-year bonds, then, we might have the potential for a down move. Don't forget the inverse chart for 20-year U.S. government bonds, TBF, Tango Bravo Foxtrot. Now, let's move on to gold. Gold bounding up 2.24%. And of course, where do we see things going? We see them going higher. What a great day for gold. We see the candle itself sitting right there on that adjusted ceiling. And again, sitting right there on it, the wick itself has moved higher. Gold is just tacking up quite nicely. Last week was a doji and then turning around this week. And again, I wish we had something to help us call gold. Again, if charts give us the things we need to be able to trade and track it, that's great. If they don't, then we pass and we find charts that, again, are readable. Charts can do anything. Stock movement for things we don't even understand or know can go up and down. That's okay. They can do that. What we strive to do is follow discernible patterns. If there's not a discernible pattern, then we're just not in it. You're just gambling at that point. You're hoping and dreaming. And typically the market will absolutely hammer you. So gold is going up, good for gold. We don't have a trade in gold because we've had decent volume here, but we've really not had anything that's been able to lead us as far as Heikin-Ashi candlesticks, trend lines, and the extremely important volume. Lastly, we'll go to HODL. Where are we? It's up, the biggest up for the day, 4.65%. Hard to tell that much happened when we look at the Heikin-Ashi candlesticks down in the morning, turning around in the afternoon. And again, how do we end this 2-day candle? Almost a doji, just a very, very weak spinning top, lots of indecision. How we end this week? A spinning top. Right there, again, we've hooked it up to the trend line. We can see the 2-day is pushed through the weekly trend line, but look, it's just sliding sideways. So again, lots of downward pressure on Bitcoin based upon last week, the week beginning the 5th of August, being a crushing down week. We'll see if Bitcoin stabilizes and starts to take off again. If it does, then we'll look for signs that tell us when and if to jump into it. Patreon members, we so appreciate you. We sent you out an email last night with our weekly vertical crossovers. We also sent you Charting Cryptos, Commodities, and Currencies. And of course, we posted that early for you at the Patreon page. If you appreciate what we do here, the things you support tend to stay around. So we would appreciate any and all Patreon support. First thing you get when you become a Patreon sponsor is you get our 3-part series, Options Made Simple, the Charting Wealth Way. You will love that training. If you have any interest in options at all, it's a great start. God bless my friends. All the best from the whole team at Charting Wealth World Headquarters.